Yes, sir. Here we are. Welcome back to the Unlimited Bits podcast, the UBP of the UBG. I am Juanito Shid here with the second episode of the podcast, and you might be able to tell by the fact that there's nobody else talking and there's really no background noise other than the music that I'm probably gonna edit into the video starting this episode. I am a one-man show this time around because I had scheduled the recording session with the guys, and we agreed that at 6 p.m. we were going to get together, and at 6 p.m. and I'm the only one ready. No surprise there, but hey, I can go on. I told them, hey, this can be a one-man show, and I knew ahead of time, before this thing started again, that there were going to be times in which this was going to have to be a one-man show. So here we are. Juanito Shit is here to give your ears a massage that they desperately need. A massage given to you by Video Game Talk, because Video Game Talk is good talk. Video Game Talk massages the ears. Video Game Talk relaxes you, reaches deep inside you in your soul, makes you feel good, gets you excited, and lets your soul feel something that it doesn't normally feel when it hears all the other ruckus from the rest of the world. So, yes, it's a one-man show this week, ladies and gentlemen, and today I am here to talk about some things. I have nothing written down. I mentioned, I believe, in last week's episode that this podcast is always going to be an off-the-cuff thing that maybe, but it's highly unlikely that myself and anybody else involved in the recording sessions of this thing would have notes or bullet points jotted down in either a sheet of paper or in an actual Word document or anything like that. And it is what it is, and that's the way I prefer it, because I feel like I can actually ramble on and on and on. Oh, look at that! I just received a message here in the UBG chat on Facebook Messenger. Doesn't surprise me, because I thought I'm gonna start recording this shit, and sure enough, they're gonna be late, fashionably late. So let's take a look at what these people have to say. Oh God! So it turns out that they're at Javier's at his grandma's house or whatever, and she's about to go to sleep. So I don't know what the deal is, but ladies and gentlemen, those are the real life troubles that you have when you try to record a weekly podcast or a podcast of any sort, or even when you're trying to record videos, especially when you're like me and you don't live by yourself and you share the house with other people. You have to ask them to please be quiet and not interrupt you, and you gotta set some time aside so that you can actually do this thing, because if you don't, then you get interrupted. Then there's a lot of background noise that you can't really edit out, or at least I can't, because I am not an expert at editing audio, although I could learn shit if I wanted to. But anyway, now let's get into stuff that actually matters concerning Unlimited Bits Gaming, the UBG, and the UBP of the UBG. I learned earlier today I was gonna upload the first video on the Unlimited Bits Gaming channel on YouTube to VidMe as well, and it turns out that when I went to VidMe a couple hours ago, so I copied the link from the YouTube account to the VidMe upload option. Well, I was gonna do that anyway, and I ended up not doing it because it turns out that VidMe is gonna get shut down on the 14th of December of this year. So in just over a month, about a month and a half, since it's November 1st today. And so bye VidMe. It was nice knowing ya. I mean, shit. Fuck. Unlimited Bits Gaming only started there, what was it, like a month ago? 2 weeks ago? I'm not sure. And there's only the 2 parts of the first episode of the UBP of the UBG uploaded there on the channel. And well, so long with me, I didn't even get a chance to know ya, really. Although I did, because of the wrestling channel, which I've been uploading in for a couple of weeks longer than that. And that's that. I mean, it sucks. If VidMe is getting shut down, that's one less alternative to YouTube. And for those of you that keep up with YouTube news, if you've heard about the apocalypse, and we touched on this on last week's episode as well, the apocalypse is that whole issue with advertisers not but pulling out of YouTube and not supporting them anymore because they don't want their advertisements, their commercials on YouTube videos to be alongside videos that might seem controversial, like gameplays of violent games, like the Mortal Kombats, the Grand Theft Autos, the Call of Duties, that sort of thing. So if it has guns, if it has swearing, if there's anything sexual mentioned or depicted in the videos, or really a lot of things, just end up getting those videos demonetized. And you have sites like VidMe that are alternatives to YouTube, but of course YouTube is the gigantic, enormous fish in the pond that it pretty much has to itself, because YouTube is like the WWE of video platforms. It is the platform. Sure, there's a bunch of other platforms that come from all over the world on the internet, but nobody can touch YouTube. YouTube has pretty much the monopoly on the video game platform industry, or in that realm. So what YouTube says pretty much goes, because the other websites take a page out of YouTube and what it allows and what it doesn't. And what affects YouTube affects other websites as well. But now with a website like VidMe getting shut down because the people that run the thing are low on funds and they can't support the website anymore, well, that sucks for content creators like yours truly, who want to get things like Ultra Unlimited Bits Gaming off the ground. And if there are less alternatives for us, then there are less ways for us to share our content and potentially make money. And that sucks. That's not good for us. Does YouTube care? No, not really, because they're going to do what's best for them, being the gigantic conglomerate that they are. They don't care about the small YouTubers and the like, and creators like yours truly that are trying to get their creative business off the ground. And it is what it is. And I guess I told Jonathan and Javier as well that I guess, well, Unlimited Bits Gaming is going to have to move somewhere else. I've already created a Vimeo account for Unlimited Bits Gaming. So as soon as I'm done setting everything up there, then I guess I'll start uploading all the content on Vimeo instead. Although from what I saw, I didn't really take a deep look around Vimeo, and I've used Vimeo very few times in the past. But from what I was able to gather in the couple of minutes that I spent there earlier in the day, it has a lot of restrictions. And those restrictions are probably due to the fact that, like Vimeo says, I saw that they stated they only have about 10 million creators on their platform, which is considerably less than what YouTube has. So I guess they gotta restrict the content creators in ways to try and convince them to actually spend money on the platform, so that they can in turn be supported and help keep their site running as well, so that they don't suffer the same fate as VidMe is suffering at the moment. Hopefully, Vimeo, I know, has been around for at least a couple of years. I don't know its history, but hopefully it won't go under like VidMe is about to do. And that sucks. It really does. I mean, fuck. I really don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, so I don't like the idea of all the videos just being on YouTube. They're gonna be up on YouTube and another platform, at least one other platform, because then if something were to happen to the YouTube channel and they got taken down for whatever reason, or I don't know, somehow a miracle happens, somebody uses dark magic and YouTube gets taken down, then you know, there go all the videos, and I do have all the videos and all the content for the channel backed up. But then, I'd have to go to another platform and upload all of them there, and that's just highly inconvenient, and it would take a while. But anyway, moving on. If you follow Unlimited Bits Gaming on Instagram at Unlimited Bits Gaming, you would have seen that about an hour ago, I believe. I uploaded the first minute of the first actual video for Unlimited Bits Gaming, so you should check it out on Instagram and right here on the channel as well. And that video is all about the GameCube. You search it up. It's just called GameCube UBG, and a nice, simple, short title. And it's basically a video review of the GameCube. A lot of the stuff that I say in there is common knowledge. If you own a GameCube or you've ever played a GameCube, gone to somebody else's house, to a friend's house, a neighbor's house, or what have you, or if you grew up with the GameCube like myself, you already know what the actual hardware is, what features it has. You know you have an idea of the library of games that it has. So if you grew up with it like I did, you already know what the console is all about. You know of its big titles like the Super Smash Bros. Melees and the Mario Kart Double Dashes and the like. So if you're on Instagram, check it out at Unlimited Bits Gaming. Follow for all content related to gaming, including original photos taken by yours truly, and clips of the actual YouTube video episodes, which will frequently keep on going up on the Instagram account as well. I mentioned last week with the guys that there's also a Twitter account for Unlimited Bits Gaming at Unlimited Bits G. And I've been considering these past couple of days of shutting it down because I haven't really used it all that much. I follow a couple dozen accounts there, mainly accounts that share video game news about the industry and the like. But I don't know. I find it more useful for the wrestling account that I have for the wrestling channel that I also have here on YouTube, and which I'm also gonna put up on Vimeo now that Vimeo is going down, called Wrestling 20 by 20 or just 20 by 20. And so if you like professional wrestling, mainly WWE, you can go check that out. And I guess I'll put a link to that channel in the description as well, so that you can check it out if you're a fan of the WWE. There's good stuff there. And Wrestling 20 by 20 is also on Instagram and on Twitter. And I actually use Twitter a lot more for the Wrestling 20 by 20 channel than I do for Unlimited Bits. Unlimited Bits is going to have mainly a focus on Instagram because as great as social media is, as wonderful as it is to be able to interact with other people that share your interests, and that like your stuff, that tag you and stuff, that follow you, and that you follow so you can see their content as well. I mean, I don't like spending every single minute of every single day with my eyes glued to my smartphone, or in this case, my tablet, and just browsing Twitter and browsing Instagram and browsing Facebook all day, every day, because it just gets boring, it just gets cumbersome. And but if you do tweet at Unlimited Bits G, or if you message or tag Unlimited Bits Gaming on Instagram in any way, shape, or form, then you can bet that yours truly will see it. So you do that, it'll be great. It's good stuff, I promise you. And of course, in case you didn't already know, following Unlimited Bits on Twitter and Instagram and the like is absolutely free, as well as subscribing to the YouTube channel and the Vimeo channels. It's absolutely free, no charges of any kind. But speaking of no charges of any kind, this is a good segue and a good opportunity to also let you know that there will be a Patreon set up for Unlimited Bits Gaming. So if you wanted to support the channel, that would be great. Because as you all know, in order to keep a YouTube channel running, you need equipment. You need to have food in your belly. You need to keep the lights on. You need to pay those gimmicks in the mail. They call bills, as Stone Cold Steve Austin would say for all the wrestling fans out there. And that's that. So as soon as the Patreon is up, I will post about that on Instagram, and I will talk about it here on the podcast as well. And of course, since this is obviously a professionally produced podcast, Jonathan is messaging me on the Unlimited Bits Facebook group that we have where we communicate. That he's asking me if I've already started recording, and I tell him, yeah, dude, I'm 15 minutes in already. Are you guys gonna jump in or what? And I don't know. Him and Javier take forever to reply. I guess they like me less than they actually like to admit. Like, for all I know, they actually hate me, and they're like, fuck, man, we gotta get together with this guy and record a podcast. I invite them, by the way. I'm the one that came up with the idea for a podcast a couple of years ago. I'm the one that came up with the suggestion of bringing it back and actually, rebooting the whole thing, and making it a weekly thing. And they said, yeah, man, we'll jump in. But the thing is, I like to have a schedule. I like to be organized. And, if I say, X thing is going to happen at Y time, then X thing has to happen at Y time. Not because there's somebody breathing down my neck, but because I like to be organized. Because I like to do shit at a certain time to make sure that I have it up on the channel or up in the Instagram or up on the Twitter at whatever time that I actually want it up. So that's the case. I'm gonna go get my phone now and see if they're actually ready to start a call so that I can actually call them on Facebook Messenger on my phone and we can get this call started. So give me a second, I'll be right back. Well, I'm back after a couple of minutes of break, and I guess they won't be joining the call after all, but hey, no biggie. There's always next week. I'm gonna continue this thing, and for a lot of people, they might find the idea of trying to record just themselves blabbering on, flapping their gums about whatever for an hour, and I don't see it as a challenge, honestly. If you were to meet me in real life, like, hey, we see Juanito shit walking down the street, and you got to know me in real life, you would notice that once I actually got to know you and I got comfortable around you, goddamn, I can be the biggest fucking chatterbox in the world. I can talk and talk and talk, and I can be loud, and I can crack jokes, and I can do this and do that. Although sometimes I'm still quiet because I am a generally reserved person. It's just who I am. It's just my nature. But anyway, moving on. The first video for Unlimited Bits Gaming, the channel, is about the GameCube. And here's the thing. It was originally gonna be the first video was originally gonna be a video about the Sega Genesis. I actually mentioned the Sega Genesis in that video itself, and it was going to be the Genesis first because in these past couple of months I've been playing a lot of Sonic, the classic Genesis Sonic games, and I thought, and then Jonathan and Javier have actually been here in these past couple of months, and they brought their Nintendo Switches, and I played Sonic Mania a bit with them as well. And I thought, okay, since I've been playing plenty of Sonic these past couple of months on my own, and I played Sonic Mania with them when they've been here, then why not, start off with the Sega Genesis, make a video about the Genesis, talk a bit about its history, review it, say what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and that sort of thing. And then subsequently make videos about the Sonic games, and then maybe a couple of videos about other Genesis games that I own physical copies of. Because I don't have any Genesis games for on my 3DS. No, I just had Game Gear games. But yeah, that was the original idea. But I always have ideas bouncing around in my head for what I want to do for videos. And I ended up going up with the GameCube because I have been playing WrestleMania 18 on the GameCube this past week. Um, and I thought, okay, since I've been playing a lot of WrestleMania 18, then I will unlock all the characters in WrestleMania 18. I believe that's all you have to do in that game to pretty much quote unquote complete it, because well, wrestling games are really never ending. You play them until you get sick of them. You can play 1,000 matches, and if you're still not sick of it, you can keep on playing it and make whatever wrestler you want a champion, and that sort of thing. So they're virtually limitless. The gameplay you can get out of any wrestling game, unless you're talking about like the first, WWF game, WrestleMania, I believe, on the NES. That game is absolute crap, and there was Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Randy Savage, I believe, and somebody else, Jake the Snake Roberts, maybe, that were the only 4 playable characters on the NES game. And no, maybe that's the exception to the rule. But anyway, that's the first video that I'm gonna make about an actual game title. It's gonna be for WrestleMania 18. I only have, what was it, maybe 2 or 3 titles to go after in the Path of the Champion mode on in WrestleMania 18. And I was playing with Chris Jericho earlier, and I won the light heavyweight title with him from Tajiri. So there's that. And I believe I have the tag team championships to still go after, and the WWF title itself. And you have to win the WWF title as The Rock in order to unlock whatever wrestler. It wasn't Mr. McMahon, because I believe he was the first one I actually unlocked. Swig of soda for the working man, or the podcasting man. Well, that's for the working man is what Steve Austin would actually say. All right. So, WrestleMania 18 for all the wrestling and video game fans out there. Video games and professional wrestling. It doesn't get much better than that, folks. Wrestling is awesome, and video games are awesome. Those are my 2 biggest passions. And hopefully there are people out there that would agree. And if you don't, well, I feel sorry for you. No, I don't actually. You can like whatever you like. Doesn't matter to me. As long as you share one of the 2 interests with me, then we'll get along. We'll get along. We can be friends. We can be BFFs. Believe me. Yes. Yes, we can be. Yes, sir. After WrestleMania 18, I'm going to do at least 2 or 3 other GameCube titles for the channel. And I haven't fully decided on what those titles are going to be. I don't own that many GameCube games. I have a small little library. I don't know, maybe 10 games or so. Because right here, at least in the swap meet that I frequent, you don't always come across GameCube games. They're not exactly rare, but the thing is, a lot of the time when you actually come across GameCube games while you're walking and you're looking at the games spread out on the table, or sometimes in bins or cardboard boxes, or on top of giant tangled messes of wires, a lot of times you find the game cases all banged up and scratched or colored on with Sharpies and markers, crayons, I don't know, oil pastels, what have you. And so that really puts you off, unless you don't care about the game case that much and you just check in, you actually open the case, assuming the game is in there, because some people take out the game, to reduce the risk of somebody stealing their merchandise that they have on sale. And, if the disc itself is in good condition, then you might think, okay, the game case is in awful fucking condition, but I'll take the game. I'll take the game because the game is ultimately what matters. And sometimes you find just the discs in CD cases, and they're all scratched up and beat up or cracked or even broken sometimes. And you pass up on those games, because why are you going to spend money on a copy of a GameCube disc that does not work? Doesn't make any sense, right? I didn't think so. And that's that. I'm thinking that maybe, no, not maybe, Super Smash Bros. Melee for sure, because I grew up with that game. I still play that game from time to time. I played that game till I've gotten damn near sick of it. when I actually set up the GameCube or the Wii to play it, I can only play for a certain amount of time before I actually end up getting bored. Because I've spent God knows how many hours playing that game. And I'm pretty good with just the raw ability. If I go up against somebody who knows all the wave dashing and all the little technicalities and people who study the frame by frame stuff, and Javier and Jonathan are actually two of those kinds of people. You could ask them. If they were here right now, they would tell you all about it. They would chime in. They're like, oh, no, yeah, you can do this, you can do that. And because they're a bit more competitive Smash Brothers wise than I am. And I've actually even considered, what if I give that a go? But I don't know, man. Between the time that I have to take to actually make content for both of the channels that I have, and the actual recording of the videos or the voiceovers and actually editing the videos, uploading them, backing them up, sharing them on social media. It's very time consuming, and there are times in which when I'm actually done putting a video together and it's nice and uploaded and backed up, at the end of the day or sometime in the evening, I just go, okay. I'm not bushed because it's not an exhaustive process. You don't feel terrible exhaustion by making videos, but when you've been staring at your phone or your tablet or your computer, or all three that you used to make videos and upload them and back them up, you want to rest your eyes for a bit, you want to chill, read a book, or actually sit down and play something, or watch something on YouTube or on Netflix and that sort of thing. You want to chill, basically, because I consider this to basically be my job now. I want this thing to work out so that I can do this for a living. Because that would be awesome. This is what I love to do. I want to be a content creator. That's why Unlimited Bits Gaming exists. That's why Wrestling 20x20 exists. So yeah, that's that. The first couple of videos are going to be, at least the first couple are going to be GameCube game reviews. And the podcast is going to keep going every week. Super Smash Bros. Melee is a must. Super Mario Strikers is a must as well, because I've played that game plenty too. Although way less than Super Smash Bros. Melee. Day of Reckoning 2, WrestleMania 18. I have the Sims 2 Pets as well, and I used to spend quite the amount of time playing The Sims 2 on the PS2 and on the GameCube. So I have the standard edition of The Sims 2 for the PlayStation 2 and The Sims 2 Pets on GameCube, and maybe that title will be considered as well. What else do I have for the GameCube? Madagascar. But fuck, shit. I have so many good games that I think, would I actually sit down and try to play through Madagascar? I mean, you don't have to play through the entirety of a game and get everything and unlock everything in a game to actually review it or make any type of video about it, but I don't know. It feels more gratifying when you give a game more time to actually see more of it, of what it has to offer. But again, Madagascar is a movie title, and you think I could be playing a good game than one based on a movie that was just made to cash in on the success of the movie, squeeze a bit more money out of that franchise. I think you can see what I mean, right? I hope so. So, first couple of videos will be GameCube. I don't know what the videos or what the console after that will be. I don't have a shortage of systems for sure. I own, what was it? 29 different game systems as of the recording of this. And that's a lot. Most people don't even have one console. But that's them, and I am me, and this is Unlimited Bits Gaming, and if we're talking video games, then you gotta have a lot of video games to talk about. Play them, make videos about. Yes, sir, that's how it works. If you keep up with video game industry news on whatever website of your preference, you might have heard that Electronic Arts, evil big corporate EA, has apparently, according to reports, lost over $3 billion in value as a company due to the whole controversy regarding their loot boxes in Battlefront 2 and just their business practices in general, but from what I understand, mostly from the Battlefront 2 controversy. And if that is the case, what a bunch of cocksuckers, because, I mean, it couldn't have happened to a nicer company, right? Because EA, man, EA has been around for a long time. And they made a lot of games, and they've worked with a lot of franchises, and they've been licensed a lot of stuff. But as we all know, they have a pretty bad track record when it comes to business practices that they benefit from, but that the consumer or the gamer does not benefit from. So they try to nickel and dime you in every little way they can. The Battlefront 2 loot boxes being a perfect example of this. The FIFA series, microtransactions being another. And of course, the microtransactions and the like are not going to go away because they make them a shit ton of money. Because people that are not as knowledgeable, that don't keep up with game industry news like you and I might, they don't know any better. So when they're playing Candy Crush, they want to spend $1 or $2 to get more crystals or gems or whatever. Or when they're playing FIFA, they want to spend $1 or $2 or 50 cents on an outfit for a soccer player, or a rainbow soccer ball, or I don't know, more muscles for their soccer players or what have you. But yeah, if you're like me, as much as you love video games, you don't always have money to own the latest stuff. Like for me, for example, the newest actual home console that I own is the PlayStation 3. And the most up to date, well, not the most up to date, but the newest actual system that I have is the Nintendo 3DS. My Zelda Edition 3DS, which I got at the tail end of 2011. So I've had it for a while, and I've gotten systems since then. Like, for example, I got a Game Boy Pocket, a blue one, and I have that put away with most of my other stuff. And I've gotten an NES since then. I've gotten 2 Super Nintendos since then. I've gotten the 3 GameCubes since then, because I believe I've had the 3 GameCubes for less time than I've had the 3DS itself. And yeah, I've been getting a lot of consoles since 2011, and a lot of games. I have a couple hundred games, well over 300, I believe. And as many consoles I've gotten, I don't own a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One or a big rig gaming PC that can play games in 4K with a 4K monitor. That lets me game at 60 frames per second, and the computer has a fucking 20 terabyte SSD inside, and I have 300 terabytes of online cloud storage. Nope, that's not me. I like my cartridges, I like my discs, I like my physical media. Nothing wrong with digital media. I should like to say that. Nothing wrong, because I actually own both. I own a couple of games, digital games on my PS3, and a couple, about a dozen or so on my 3DS. But other than that, I believe that's it, because they're the only 2 systems that I have that have online functionality. At least up until the recording of this episode. Speaking of which, I posted on Instagram late last night, which was I don't know, 2:30 something in the morning. That a couple of days ago, my little sister found my copy of Pokemon Y, which had been in a little game card carrying pouch for Nintendo DS game cards for over just a bit over 2 years. It had been missing, along with a couple of other games like New Super Mario Brothers, Mario Kart 7, and what else? Dragon Ball Origins? No, I believe that wasn't missing. There was a couple other games in there though. and they had been missing for a little over 2 years. And my little sister was looking for, I don't know, what was it, a lead pencil or erasers or something like that on the hallway that we have here in the house. And and she looked inside a bag, one of the pouches, one of the zippers or something, and she found the game case in there, and she opened it, and lo and behold, there was my copy of Pokemon Y, along with my copy of New Super Mario Brothers and Mario Kart 7, all games that had been missing for over 2 years, and all games that I thought I would never find again. But, as I've told Jonathan and Javier and the other family members, for me to actually lose something, a game, a system, or any electronic that I own, it's really freaking hard because I have a place for all of my stuff. Here in my room, in the living room, at my desk, everything has a place. Most of my consoles are put away in two barrels so that they don't get all dusty, and I wish I had, furniture in which I could put them in display on. But that's not always possible because I am not rich. I am a small YouTuber trying to get this shit off the ground, trying to find success in making content about games. And so yeah, but at least they're protected, so that hopefully their life will be extended by the fact that they're inside barrels that protect them from the elements, from dust especially. And that is that. How much have I been flapping my gums for? For how long? Because goddamn, I feel like I've been doing this an eternity. It's 6:51, so it must be near an hour now. Let me unlock my tablet right here. 36 minutes, Jesus Christ. By the time I'm done with this thing, my voice is gonna be real hoarse. Really? Is that how you say it? Hoarse? Harris? Harris? Like my mom says. She doesn't know English, so she says Harris instead of horse. I want to write the Harris. Let me ask you guys this. Moving on to something hopefully a bit more entertaining. What game is there that you have put hundreds, if not thousands, of hours into? It can be any game, on any system, PC or console, mobile. Although if you spend a couple hundred or a couple thousand hours on a mobile game, there's something wrong with you. They've got you. They've got you by the balls. They've got you hooked. And you can't get unhooked. And I bet you dumped hundreds, if not thousands of dollars into the microtransactions thing. Don't do that. These companies that do that are evil, don't you know? Yes. Yes, they are. But yeah, what game have you spent hundreds or thousands of hours in? I can give you mine. Well, one of mine at least. I was talking earlier about how my little sister found Pokemon Y. I have spent over 700 hours in Pokemon Y, so there's one. I have probably spent a couple thousand hours playing Super Smash Bros. Melee over the years. I have probably spent a couple hundred hours playing Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo 64 because I've had my copy for as long as I can remember. I believe I was 4 years old when my grandmother bought me my Nintendo 64, which I still have to this day, and it still works. And I actually had it set up just a couple of days ago because I was really into Diddy Kong Racing, which I have also played on and off throughout my life, and which I just love. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And that's another thing. I have a lot of favorite games. So if you were to see me walking down the street or something, you're like, hey, you're that guy from the Unlimited Bits Gaming channel. Hey, and if you were to ask me, if you could pick your favorite game of all time, I would tell you, well, I can't pick just one. That'd be like asking me, hey, what's your favorite Pokemon? I would tell you, I can't choose just one, just the same. You told me, what's your favorite soda? Same thing. What's your favorite color? Same thing. But since this is a gaming channel, if you were to ask me, hey, Juanito shit, what is your favorite game of all time? I would tell you I have many favorites. I can't choose just one because video games have been around for decades, and it's impossible to choose just one unless you've actually ever played a small handful of games, or just one game in your entire life, which just sounds completely impossible. because games have been around, like I said, for decades. And if you haven't been exposed to video games in some way, like, unless you live in fucking Africa or something, or in some very secluded country or island somewhere in the world, I mean, first off, you wouldn't be listening to this because you probably wouldn't have Wi-Fi or internet of any sort, or a smart device of any kind that you could use to listen to this podcast. But I could tell you I can't choose just one, but I can name a couple that I played for, that I've sunk hundreds of thousands of hours into, and that is very near and dear to my heart. For example, Super Mario 64, definitely one. Pokemon Y is another. Any Pokemon game, really, and really almost any Mario game as well. I remember back in high school a couple of years ago, I was in, for a couple of months, I had felt that I had grown tired of Mario games. But then one day I was thinking about how I had felt like I was getting sick of Mario games after playing them for my whole life. But then, what was it? It was Super Mario 3D Land for 3DS that I was playing it then, and had my 3DS was shiny new at the time, and I got really into Super Mario 3D Land to the point in which I pretty much completed the game 100%. I had, what was it, 1,110 lives on it, and so I could play. I could use Mario without his cap, and I could beat any fucking level quickly, and I would, and I played through the levels, in the, what was it, the time trial mode or time attack mode or whatever the hell it's called. That mode in which you played Super Mario 3D Land. You know what I'm talking about, where you race against a set time set by people that you street pass in the game. So try to beat their score, and it's really fun. And I remember even back then I would think, man, who would have ever thought that I would get into a time trial mode in a Mario game as opposed to getting into one in, say, Mario Kart, which would make more sense, right? Because it's a racing game, a kart racing game, but it's a racing game, or just in any other racing game, Gran Turismo, Forza, Need for Speed, take your pick. You would think that you would get into a time trial mode in a game like that from those series, since they're actually racing games. But no, the only game that I've ever actually truly gotten into that has a trial mode is Super Mario 3D Land, because it was just fun as hell. It was addicting. It was a nice challenge trying to beat the times of the in the levels that your opponents would set, and it was just fun because the controls in that game. I mean, first off, that game is Super Mario 3D Land is another one of my all-time favorite games. Definitely one of the best Mario games ever. But I mean, does that say much? Nintendo's always from the start, throughout the entire history of Mario, they've always taken care of their Mario games, which is why Mario games still sell like freshly made pancakes served with a large helping of butter, syrup, and milk, or chocolate milk, or what have you. Oh, delicious, makes my mouth water. But yeah, Mario's always been really taken care of by Nintendo, and that's just me stating the obvious, which is why games like Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch sell by the millions in just a couple of days, or a day or two, or whatever it was that the record sales that Mario Odyssey set. And of course, Mario Odyssey is gonna gain a shit ton of rewards. But I haven't played Mario Odyssey, now that I'm talking about that. I haven't played Mario Odyssey, but I saw Jonathan play it when he was here. And I believe I saw Javier play it here as well. My little sister played it, and I saw her play it for a bit as well. And I mean, the day comes in which I actually get a Nintendo Switch. That is definitely a game that I want to get. And here's the thing, and I told Jonathan and Javier this as well. When the Switch was first announced, and during the first couple of months of its lifespan, I had no interest in getting a Nintendo Switch. I thought, like, wow, that whole idea about having a game console that is both portable and just a traditional console as well, when you actually put it in the dock so you can play it on your TV, is freaking awesome. But I thought, at the time, yeah, it's really awesome and it's really convenient. It's really creative, but it's also, and I think I was just thinking about this as well. It's not a new idea. Yeah, and I was thinking about this yesterday because yesterday is when I actually recorded the GameCube video and put it all together, so I could upload it. I was thinking, man, the Game Boy player has this little port in the front, so you can connect the Game Boy Advance link cable to it, so that you can connect your Game Boy Advance to it and use it like a controller. And certain games like what was that Pac-Man game? Pac-Man Party or Pac-Man Attack? I don't know. For the GameCube that allowed you to play Pac-Man multiplayer in some way. But yeah, some games allowed you to use the Game Boy Advance as a controller. So it's not an idea that's new to Nintendo, and it wasn't an idea that was new to me because Nintendo aren't the only ones that have actually used that idea before. There's a Super Game Boy for the Super Nintendo. There's the Game Boy Player with the Game Boy Advance compatibility, which I just mentioned. Sega did it with their with the Sega Nomad. For those of you that know your game history, your Sega Nomad was basically a portable Sega Genesis. So you pop the cartridges in the back of the Nomad, and it had its cables so that you could output a signal from the Sega Nomad and hook it up to a TV. And the Nomad was basically a portable. Well, I should quote that. Put it in. You can't see it because it's audio only, right? But I'm doing the quotation marks in the air. Theoretically, the Nomad was a portable Sega Genesis, but you could hook it up to a TV, and it was basically a Genesis. And even for the time, despite its limits, despite the fact that it didn't do so well, like the GameCube, that was pretty awesome. And, it was the same idea. Genesis on the go. Take it with you. Although, the Nomad lasted you, 2-3 hours? I've never actually seen a Nomad in real life, I don't think. Not that I can remember. But yeah, Sega has done it. Nintendo has done it to an extent in the past as well. Sony has done it with the PlayStation Portable and the PlayStation Vita more recently. Although, as we all know, I think the PSP is more alive today than the Vita has ever been in its entire existence. Poor Vita. That sucks as well. See, I'm just rambling here, going from one topic to another. I've noticed that. Thank you very much. You don't have to point it out. But yeah, it's sad that Sony has let the Vita die the way it has. Had a very short lifespan. Looked like a very nice game system, but yeah, that's that pretty much. What else is there to talk about here? I already talked about some game news. I already talked about near future plans for the channel. I'm at 48 minutes of this damn thing by now, and all for nothing pretty much, because since the channel is just barely started, and there's only 2 videos up on the YouTube channel as of this recording, nobody's gonna listen to this unless this thing actually has success, and there are people who enjoy the content and go back to throughout the history of the channel and listen to this thing, and they're like, whoa, the podcast is so different now than it used to be in the first episode and the second episode. But nobody's gonna listen to this. I mean, nobody listened to the episode with not just me rambling on and on about stuff when Jonathan and Javier were here last week. Nobody listened to that on YouTube, although a couple of people did listen to it on VidMe, which was nice. But of course, again, VidMe is getting shut down, so that the time that went and an effort that went into that was for nothing, pretty much. But whatever it is, it is what it is, and shit happens, unfortunately. If you're a wrestling fan, you listen to Jim Ross's The Ross Report podcast. You know that he likes to joke about his website being the loneliest website in the world. Well, this podcast is the loneliest podcast in the world. So nobody's gonna listen to this shit. But if somehow miraculously you're one of those very, very, very scarce souls that managed to end up listening to this thing and making it up to this point, well, first of all, thank you. And I'm glad you found it entertaining enough to listen to. for this long, almost an hour, almost 15 minutes now. And so thank you. You're awesome for listening and for supporting the channel with your listen, for tuning in. And I congratulate you as well, because holy shit, how did you make it this far? And that's that. Anyway, my throat is kind of hurting now because I've been rambling and talking so much. Hopefully, if somebody actually listens to this, you found it entertaining. And if you did, thank you for your time. And I guess I'll see you here next week. Once more before I go, though, don't forget that Unlimited Bits Gaming is also on Twitter and on Instagram. On Twitter as Unlimited Bits G, at Unlimited Bits G, I should say. And on Instagram at Unlimited Bits Gaming. I am gonna finish putting the finishing touches on the Vimeo channel, so that if you, for some reason, don't like YouTube, and you want to support the channel by keeping up with it there, then it's also on Vimeo. And I'm gonna upload everything that the channel has so far, which isn't much, 3 videos with including this. Then you can follow the channel on Vimeo as well. But until then, instead of rambling on for 9 more minutes and just not talking about anything really, I'm gonna leave it here. Hopefully, Javier and Jonathan will be available next week, and they can join me so that there is more than one voice to listen to, because I, believe it or not, I am not conceited. I am not self-centered enough to listen to my voice to an hour and not get sick of listening to myself, because I do. But anyway, this was Juanito Shit. This was the Unlimited Bits podcast, the UBP of the UBG, and I'll catch your ass here for the next episode next Saturday morning. Same time, same channel. Unless you're catching this on Vimeo, I guess. But I'll catch you here next week. All right? See you later. Bye-bye.